Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Monday. I hope you guys had an amazing, amazing weekend. Hey, Miss Dolores. Hello there. How are you? Hello, Lisa. Hey, Evangelist. Evangelist, I finally have seen your post over the weekend. I don't know how I missed it. I really don't. Um, Teresa, hello there. How are you? Yeah, this is an interesting story. I came across this story actually last week. What was it? Yeah, last week sometime. And it's kind of crazy. So I've been digging into it over the weekend and we're going to get into all the deets of what's been going on. Okay. I will be doing the raffle later on this week. I'm still putting you guys' name on the wheel. Okay. So I have not forgotten. I will be announcing the new raffle that will be for the month of June. Okay. I hope you guys' month is starting off great. Hello, Robin. Hello there. How are you? Alrighty, guys. So, hey, Ann, how are you? So this is the case of a young child by the name of Raymond is his name, guys, and his mother. No, Ra'Myl. Ra'Myl is his name. I'm sorry, Ra'Myl Pierre. He's 6 years old. All right, and his mother's name is Rhonda Paulynice, and she is 41 years old. And this happened out there in Fort Pierce, Florida. Hey, the real books. Hello there. How are you? And it's believed that he passed away sometime around May the 18th. All right. Now, this is one of those situations that is wrapped around a lot of mental health, things that were going on that went unnoticed or unchecked. Another one of those type of cases is what we have right now. So Raymel Pierce was 6 years old, and he was a student at Samuel S. Gaines Academy out there in Fort Pierce, Florida. And he was known for his very bright personality, and he was described by educators and community members as a very joyful child. Okay, now this is him and his mother here, and typical 6 year old. And when I went on her social media, he looked like he was okay, but she didn't. And we're going to go over some of her last social media posts and some things that I was able to identify when I went to her profile, in the days after her arrest. All right. So as of right now, and of course, she is still arrested. And his mother, Rhonda Pierce, is 41 years old, and she was known to the authorities prior to this situation. Okay, but it wasn't for child abuse. It was actually for domestic violence that involved her sister, who used to live in the residence with her. Okay. She did have previous interactions with the authorities for like worthless checks. And then I also seen where there was some form of custody, well, child support and custodial court appearances happening as well in regards to her child. Now, despite this history, there were no active reports or investigations into the child himself, i.e., CPS or anything of that nature. Okay. So here's where things begin to, hey, Kawania, here's when things begin to kind of take a turn on May the 14th. Okay. So Raymel was marked absent from school, and there was no contact from the family explaining why he was absent from school. Then on May the 30th, there was a welfare check that was then initiated. So this, now keep in mind that this is a whole 2 weeks of him being absent from school, where a resource officer had then contacted the St. Lucie Police Department and informed them that he has not seen the child and he was a little concerned. So a deputy had then responded to the household, which is at the 2500 block of Bedford Drive out there in Fort Pierce. He went there around about 10 a.m. So when he did arrive, they did find Rhonda Pierce there, Rhonda Paulynice there, and she was in the driveway, and she did cooperate, but she was very emotionless. She didn't show any signs of emotion at all. And then she did lead the deputies inside of the house. And that is where Raymel was then found to be deceased, and his body was found to be laying in a bed. Okay. He was unresponsive with no sign of life there at all. Hey, Layla. Hello there. How are you? So, what exactly happened? That is something that they're trying to really determine. We're still in the early stages, of course. So, Polynice had confessed to the deputies that during a recorded interview that she had with them, she says that she believed that God had instructed her to perform a exorcism on her son. She felt like that he was possessed by demons. So, according to her statement, she believed that he was possessed and she also attempted to release the demons from his body on May the 18th. So, once Ra'Myl had stopped moving, she had interpreted his death as a spiritual release and also claimed that she was waiting for him to come back. All right. Now, when it came down to the behavior on the scene in which she had, showed the deputies, the investigators described Paulynice as being emotionally erratic once she began to show them her son's body and explain herself. She did alternate between laughing and crying. Okay. And these are manic behaviors. You guys know when it comes to any form of mental health, this up and down of emotion is a clear sign that there's something wrong here. Okay. Especially with her acknowledging the fact that she has done something to her son. She's crying in the midst, but she's also laughing. These are clear signs of some form of mental health psychosis. Okay. Now, she did show these, roller coaster of emotions during the interrogation, and she did not report his death at all. Okay. She had kept his body in this home for 12 straight days, making no attempts to contact the authorities for medical assistance. So, prior to her police involvement, okay, there was some things that happened around the time of May the 17th. All right. Now, when I went to her post and I went to her social media, she began to post things that look sort of like this. Okay. And if you look right here and you read closely to what she says, keep your light shining bright, for the time is near. Keep your light from being extinguished, for we have entered a new season. Stay close to our Father, as well as am I the chosen one. Couldn't really see it. So that is what she is actually saying in this post. Now, in addition to this, and this is prior to her son actually passing away. And if you look at this is May the 17th. They do believe that he passed away on May the 18th. She also made a few videos, so let's take a look.
Saying goes, if you want something done correctly, you have to do it yourself. Well, time is not of the essence anymore. Repent before it's too late. The Father is separating his children. You don't want to be on the side of darkness. The Father was so kind. Now the time is near. I hope y'all use the time wisely.
She was also seen prior to these videos, she was seen on a neighbor's Ring camera where you can see she's a little bit out of her mind as well. And you can see the date of this Ring camera in the corner.
How may I help you? I can't hear you.
Hi, are you aware of me coming by today?
No. Who are you?
Oh, I'm Joy.
Okay, and who are you looking for?
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I probably got the wrong house.
Yeah.
If you look in the far, you can see her just standing there. So clearly, this woman was going through some form of psychosis. Okay. A lot of people kind of underestimate what is a religious psychosis. Okay. And it's because they kind of don't understand how to identify it. But if you know what it looks like, if you've been around someone who has been into a religious psychosis, then you know how to kind of safeguard yourself and those that are around them. A lot of times they will go into this real hard focus on religion. So one thing that I did notice when I went to her Facebook account is that she was she was hard on religion, religion, religion. Every post was religion. But if you listen to her, she also is saying that the time is near. It's like in her mind, she was preparing for what she already felt was in her son. Okay. Someone could have done something to her for some mental health. They could have, but some people, like I said, some people don't really take religious psychosis seriously. And I'm gonna tell you why. When they typically see someone that is going through a religious psychosis, they just call them like a Bible thumper, you know, not realizing that sometimes these are clear signs that a person needs assistance. Now, when it comes to religious psychosis, it's a very severe psychiatric condition in which people do experience some delusions, hallucinations, as well as normally it's very in religious types of theming. Okay. So they do believe in rituals and witchcrafts and exorcisms. They begin to take on this religious belief. And some of them, they begin to feel like that they are God themselves, himself. They begin to feel a very God like being over them and take on the persona as if they are Jesus walking the earth. And so when they walk around and they're talking in this religious type of way, a lot of people stray away from them because, once again, some people do see it as a Bible thumper or someone who is too hard on a religion or someone who bases life off of just religious things. And so sometimes it can go ignored, which is possibly why we are here. Okay. Now, when it comes to delusions, they have some form of a delusion that is a divine command. Like God is telling them that this is supposed to happen. So the person may believe that God is telling them to do something that is harmful, like a sacrifice, an exorcism, or to punish someone, often a child or a family member. Now, when it comes to the hallucinations, they may also hear the voices, they may see visions, they may feel like they're being controlled or being controlled or watched by religious entities like God, angels, demons, or even Satan. Okay. They do have a very extreme behavior. This could lead to violence, neglect, and some form of ritualistic act that could be under a false belief that they are fulfilling some form of divine mission. And that right there explains the videos that we just now heard her say. Okay. With knowing what we know now, okay, I'm going to play the videos again. And this is literally a textbook meaning of a religious psychosis. But also, if you look at her face, she has a very blank stare. Okay. It's very emotionless. And there's no emotion there. It's very emotionless. And there's no type of she's just very blank. It's like it's nothing there. So I'm going to play the videos again. And then you guys take what I just now said about the religious psychosis and piece it together. 9 times out of 10, this woman is going to be able to say that she was mentally unstable at the time of this crime.
The saying goes, if you want something done correctly, you have to do it yourself.
If you want something done correctly, you're going to have to do it yourself. Okay? This is the hallucinations. She's being controlled by something. What that something is, we don't know. This could be Whoever she believes it is, God, angels, demons, Satan, that is what she's trying to follow through. How's your finger? It's good. It's good. I'm able to move it a little bit better now.
Well, time is not of the essence anymore. Repent before it's too late.
Time is not of the essence anymore. Repent before it's too late. Now, keep in mind, these videos are being made prior to her son's death. So in her mind, she already knows what her mission is. Okay? She knows, she feels like that she is fulfilling some form of mission that is being handed to her.
The father is separating his children.
Separating his children. That is exactly what she did.
You don't want to be on the side of darkness.
She's talking about the demons in which she feels like her son has in him.
Father was so kind.
My father was so kind. She's talking about God.
Now the time is near.
Time is near. Once again, the
I
mission.
hope y'all use the time wisely.
She's talking about the mission. So everything that we just now seen here is really what a religious psychosis look like. Her eyes are really, yes, sometimes when they go into this religious psychosis, they look diluted, like their eyes look diluted. It's kind of strange and it's kind of weird that they begin to look high. And it's because as I have explained to you guys before, when it goes to that whole psychosis thing, it's so much going on. They see things, they hear things, and so it becomes a blank stare. It's like if someone spooks you and you can't stop staring at it, but you also hear the noises of it. So you're trying to hear all the noises and you're seeing visions of something that you don't understand. That's what the blank stare is. That's what's going on in her head. Now, when it comes to this whole religious psychosis thing, this could be, an underlying issue of some form of schizophrenia disorder, or schizoaffective disorder, bipolar disorder. This could happen during manic episodes, substance induced, but I have not seen anything that says that she was on any type of drugs. And when I looked up her records, I didn't see any prior arrest or anything for drugs, so I don't believe it's that. But of course, they're still investigating. Sometimes this can occur during postpartum, but her son is 6 years old now, so I don't see it kicking in this late. Okay, this is definitely a mental breakdown. Now, when it comes to prior things that occurred, prior to them going into the home and finding her son and things of that nature, it is said that, after she confessed and she believed that she had done this, the police had looked at her prior record, okay, and police involvement, not just an arrest per se, but any form of police involvement. And they say that on May the 17th, one day before the suspected death, okay, the deputies have responded to the same residence to do on a rescue run due to a medical issue that Paulynice was experiencing. There was no contact that was made with the child, though, during that call. And he was not observed at any point by the authorities. Now, with them saying that they had to go to her home for some type of medical, this could have been mental. It could have been mental. Hey, Yolanda, for sure. She's likely also being deprived of sleep, going deeper into those thoughts. Exactly. And one thing that I did notice, the real books, is that it was leading up to the 18th. It was constant, hard on social media. It's all hours of the day that she is posting. Even she posted on the day of. Okay, she posted on the day of his death as well. Now, prior to that, they had went to her house on May the 17th, and they went there for some form of medical situation with her, not seeing the child at any point. They also said that they did have some form of involvement with her for domestic disturbance in May of this year, where it was documented at the same residence involving Paulynice and her adult sister, who had lived at the home at that time. There were no prior reports that were flagged of any form of child abuse nor neglect that was happening in the home, or any questions in surrounding his safety, or if he needed to be taken out of the home. Then of course she was arrested and taken in for second-degree murder, failure to report, as well as altering and tampering with a dead body, right? So as of right now, um the autopsy report is still pending, but the authorities do believe that he had passed away on May the 18th, based on, the early on forensics of his body and things of that nature. Okay. Um, Here is a post as well that she did make too, that was a little concerning on the date of his death. Okay. This is on the date of. Now, keep in mind that the authorities said that they went there on the 17th, and then they believe he passed away on the 18th. They went to the home on the 30th. Now, the question what people are wanting to know is, was she making these posts while he was still in the home, or before, you know, the body was she killed him, or after she killed him? Here is the facts that we know, okay? She was posting the day before, the day of, and the days after, because she was still sitting in the home with his deceased body. One thing that also stood out to me is that when they went to her home, her windows were boarded up. And sometimes this can come from some form of hallucinations, that she may feel as though that someone is after her, or someone is watching her, or someone is trying to get her, or her feeling like that her son had these demon spirits, or attracting demon spirits, and she could have boarded up this home herself. But what I have not been able to understand is, if the authorities went to this home and they seen the boarded up windows, that should have been a red flag. That should have been a red flag there, okay? That something wasn't right, because why would someone be living in a home and the windows are boarded? That is a fire hazard within itself as well. Not to mention, you guys are there for a mental health disturbance, because unless you were there for some form of medical thing, where she would have been taken to the hospital. But if you guys were there for some form of mental thing, she still should have been taken into custody or taken to the hospital just for a quick eval from the medical professionals. In that instance, but if you guys had to arrive for something there was something going on at that house. Boarded windows was definitely a red flag. The mental health call, or whatever this health call was. But I would think that the only health call would be mental health, because if this how she was in the days leading up to it, I can only imagine what the authorities were seeing when they saw her the day before she killed him. We visit the house and we don't judge. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. But because I would think that if she's looking like this in videos, and if she's at a neighbor's house days before he's even deceased, we know that whatever they went there for, I don't care if it was a medical help for a fall, there was something there they should have been able to identify that this woman wasn't okay in her head. We can see that through the videos. We can see that on the Ring camera. She was at a random person's house saying that her name was Joy, and she was due to visit them. This neighbor don't even know who this woman is. Keep in mind, the time on the Ring camera was about 11 o'clock at night. And she's wandering the streets, standing outside randomly, staring into nowhere. So if this is how she was the weeks prior to his death, we know that when those police officers went into her home on the 17th, they knew that something wasn't right. They just turned the other cheek and looked the other way. And as the real book says, we visit the house and we look, but we don't judge. We're judging. Where was her family? Sometimes when people are going through mental health crisis, a lot of families, they leave, they flee. Believe it or not. And if she had already been getting into it, because don't forget, they said that she had got into a domestic situation with her sister who was once living there. So that alone, her sister probably left because she possibly already been acting crazy earlier this year. And things just begin to spiral. And then she's alone by herself now with just her and her son. And this is why I tell people all the time, we have this thing in the community where when people are going through mental health, we want them to seclude themselves alone. That is very dangerous. I need you guys to understand that that is dangerous. Telling a person who is mentally not there that they need to that they need to stay to themselves or be alone or hide it, that is very dangerous because it leads them into the thoughts of their own selves. And sometimes those thoughts are not themselves. Sometimes it's demons. Sometimes it's voices that are telling them to be homicidal or the other thing. That is a very dangerous thing, but a lot of times people flee. I'm making a righteous judge, so I'm judging exactly. But a lot of people, they flee, which leaves a lot of people that are mentally unstable to be alone and by themselves, which is kind of crazy. And now a 6-year-old child has been victimized by his mother, who was clearly out of her mind. A lot of people are also blaming the school system because it took them 2 weeks to do a welfare check as well. Um, it's the end of the school year. Let's just be honest, guys. I don't know when Florida gets out of school down there, but it's a bit the end of the school year. So it would not be abnormal for a child to go missing for a few days, honestly and truly. Some parents do start their vacations early. Some kids go to grandparents' house a little early, way before the school year actually ends, especially if their grades are good and they won't be affected in any way. So it really wouldn't be too damaging. 2 weeks is a little absurd though for a 6-year-old, but we got to keep in mind there was no red flags of abuse and neglect at the home. There was nothing to make teachers believe like that, he's in danger. There was nothing there. This is not a case where we have seen reports or, a CPS have been in the household. This is not one of those cases. So I can't really put this 100% on the school system. Honestly, I just can't. Um, 2 weeks is a lot though. It's definitely a lot. Gotta stop turning our heads away when we see something ain't right. It will save a life. That's very true. Was the father of the child known and involved at all? I have not seen him speak out in any way. Haven't seen him speak out. I haven't seen him say anything. When I did do a FOIA request for her, I did see that there was some form of child support rulings that occurred, but I did not see. And when I looked up the dad, I didn't see him make a statement about anything or speak out about anything. Um, And this is why I even tell fathers, child support is not enough. Okay. Even if you're paying child support, you still need to make time for your children. You still need to visit your children. You need to dedicate time to connect with your child. Just sending a check over does not make you a good daddy. Because for him to go missing for 2 weeks, if the dad is truly hands-on and if the dad is truly, connected, he would have known instantly that something isn't right. You have to get involved 100%. 2 weeks is a lot, you know? I haven't seen anyone, really speak out much about this child, the mother or anything. Haven't seen many people. And I haven't even seen, family members, to say anything. The only people that have truly been speaking out is like the school that knew Ra'Myl, but and people from the Boys and Girls Club that knew him as well. That's it. I haven't seen any aunts, uncles, cousins, no one really say anything at all. So I will be keeping updates. I am working on trying to get the police report for this so that we can truly get an understanding of the timeline of events. Like, what truly was going on and what is the true, how do we get here? So that is what I am also waiting for as well. Hey, Shantae. Hello there. How are you? Also, if you guys have not seen already, uh, tomorrow's show is posted and Wednesday's show is posted. Okay. We will be discussing a child that was found hidden in a home after an abusive father, and her mother was actually, and a part of the testimony to get him convicted for 40 years due to the abuse that was going on within the household. So we're going to go over that case as well as another cryptocurrency situation where some guys from New York were able to lure in a Bitcoin investor, hold him hostage, torture him because they wanted his password to his Bitcoin account. What's going on with this tech stuff? What is actually going on? But that is what we have going on for this week. I will be doing Bigo today, doing a recap of whatever went on with the whole Diddy saga. I'm kind of getting tired of Diddy, guys. I'm kind of getting tired of him, but I've started talking about him. So I know that people are going to want to get my thoughts on it. So I have to stay consistent on it, but I am getting a little drained. I must vent that out. Okay. I'm getting very drained of Diddy. I think Diddy is going to go to jail, but I will be discussing Diddy today. All right. I will. I will go over this case a little bit further too. Over on the Bigo side of things, I got to catch the replay and catch up. Yeah, I'm diddied out. Like, I'm so diddied out. Like, I'm kind of diddied out. I'm over it. So you guys on the YouTube side, the only way that you're going to really get to see anything Diddy is on the Bigo side of things. I am diddied out, guys. Okay. No Diddy. I'm diddied out. I'm gonna say. In an effort to stay updated with everything that it's going on, I'm gonna do some other stories on the YouTube side and then Diddy on the Bigo side, along with other cases as well. That's how we're gonna do it, just to kind of give myself a Diddy break because I'm kind of drained of him. Okay. Alrighty. The baby oil got upper vitamins in it. Take that, take that. You know what? The jokes. That's what I say. Regardless of what happens with Diddy, he's done. I don't care. You know, whether it be through society or through jail, he's done because our thoughts of Diddy is forever changed. Forever changed. It will never be the same. We will forever be hearing take that, take that. We will forever know that he dresses in all black like a Muslim and sit in corners and whisper. We will forever know that he's a drugged out sex demon, regardless of how this goes or flows. Okay. Forever. We know this. All right. So, Bigo, I am on my way to you guys. Please make sure that you guys are subscribed. If you are new here, please subscribe. I do go live Monday through Friday over here on the YouTube side of things, new topics and new stories every single day. Okay. Every day. All right. See you guys tomorrow. And thank you for watching. And thank you for tuning in to True Crime with Savage Royalty.